How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
Coming up next after the news, Hour 1 of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, here at listen.freetalklive.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman. Donald Trump has lashed out at both Iran and Israel for violating a ceasefire brokered by the United States and Qatar, saying both sides have got to calm down. The fragile truce comes after the U.S.'s decision to intervene in the conflict and bomb a number of Iran's nuclear facilities. FSN's Washington correspondent, Jagruti Dave, has more on the president's reaction.
In comments to reporters, which included an expletive, President Trump said both sides had been fighting for so long they don't know what they're doing. He also had what the White House described as a firm and direct call with his Israeli counterpart. Mr. Trump is insisting a ceasefire is in effect and that Israel is not going to attack Iran. But it's early days in this fragile truce, whose outcome will determine whether or not the US president's gamble in the Middle East has paid off.
A classified briefing for lawmakers in Washington about the U.S. strikes targeting Iran and the intelligence used to justify them has been canceled. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Members of the House and Senate were supposed to receive separate briefings, and the Associated Press reported they were to be led by the CIA Director, the Director of National Intelligence, and General Dan Kane, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. On Tuesday afternoon, it was reported the briefings were cancelled, with sources telling NBC News the delay is to allow the Defence Secretary and the Secretary of State to return from the NATO summit to attend. Democrats argue the president should have consulted Congress before launching the strikes on Iran, or at least made a better effort to justify US actions. Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries said, "We expect them to explain to the American people what the results were in terms of actually thwarting Iran's capacity to become a nuclear power." A new poll shows most Americans disapprove of the strikes, 56% to 44%, and 6 in 10 people are worried that the strikes will increase the Iranian threat to America.
The U.S. Supreme Court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to resume deporting migrants to third countries, including war-torn nations like South Sudan. The 6-3 ruling went unsigned, but the liberal justices delivered a scathing dissent, calling the decision a gross abuse of the court's power, as incomprehensible as it is inexcusable. The case focuses on 8 men who were deported to South Sudan in May, most of whom have no connection to the country. A lower court had ruled that their deportation was unconstitutional because the men didn't have a chance to challenge their removal in court. The Department of Homeland Security has called the ruling a victory for the American people in a statement saying, quote, "Fire up the deportation planes." From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at the skies above us. It turns out the universe may be even bigger than we all thought. A brand new telescope is surveying distant galaxies and dust clouds and bringing back information we didn't know that we didn't have. Built on a mountain in Chile, 18 stories high, the Rubin Observatory has the largest camera ever built. Dr. Matthew Bothwell is public astronomer at the University of Cambridge.
I think it's hard to overstate, honestly. I think this is all Christmases coming at once for astronomers. It's an entirely new window to the universe, letting us do something that we've never done before. The amazing thing, what the Rubin Observatory is going to do is make the biggest map ever of our entire universe. And that is really going to tell us how the universe works on big scales and uncover some enormous mysteries. It's taking a 10-year-long movie of almost the entire night sky. It's going to reveal millions of asteroids, planets, exploding stars, and even tell us about some of the real deep mysteries of the universe, like dark energy and dark matter. Something like 95% of everything in the universe is this weird dark energy, dark matter. It's incredibly exciting to not know what 95% of reality is made of.
As he said, it is hard to overstate. The observatory's first stunning images were published on Monday, and it aims to survey, wait for it, 20 billion separate galaxies over the course of its lifetime.
And a recap of today's headlines. Donald Trump has lashed out at both Iran and Israel for violating a ceasefire, saying both sides have got to calm down. A classified briefing for lawmakers in Washington about the U.S. strikes targeting Iran and the intelligence used to justify them has been canceled. The U.S. Supreme Court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to resume deporting migrants to third countries. That's Feature Story News. Tony Waterman reporting.
For the past several years now, area woman Caitlin Mooney has been convinced that each and every one of her friends should be a professional comedian. Our reporters spoke to Caitlin this morning about her, quote, hilarious group of friends.
Karen is so funny. Like, I can't even explain it. She's always just saying whatever on her mind. She has this totally sassy attitude. You just can't help but laugh. My roommate Rashmi, she always has these hilarious stories that, they're just too much. I'm always telling her that she should just go up on stage and talk. Everyone would love it.
Mooney went on to say that her good friend Lauren is so funny she could, quote, definitely be on Saturday Night Live or The Office, a sentiment she echoed about a number of her other acquaintances, including her childhood friend Marcia, her college roommate Angela, her coworker Julie, and even her sister Jennifer.
This is the Onion News Network.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and normally this is a live show. I just want to get it out right out the gate that this is not a live show, so you cannot call in today, but normally you could. And today we're recording a bit early, so in this segment of the show you actually won't be hearing us from Forkfest or Porkfest. This is just me and Angelo, you could say
hello.
Hi, in my studio at home, but not live, so it's weird. The phones are right here, but no one can call in or hear us talking at all. We are recording early because I just need a little practice and to get out ahead of the couple shows I need to get done in just a couple days of Forkfest. So you'll definitely hear some Forkfest probably on the second half of this show, and then definitely on the Sunday show. And neither will be live, so I'm not going to give out the phone number. That's going to be really hard to remember not to give out the phone number, but welcome to Free Talk Live. And the big news going on right now is the LA riots. I think at this point you can officially call them riots. Have you seen enough stuff to?
Yeah, I think they've burnt down enough stuff. Last night was you saw a lot of looting. I think they hit that Adidas store, the Apple store downtown in LA got hit. I think, at this point it's probably a riot. But it's the same thing. It's the Summer of Love 2.0. During the day it'll go around that it's mostly peaceful, and it usually is. It's not until the nighttime hits that most of those more violent type people come out and start doing their nefarious acts.
So, do you think that most of those people that are showing up, period, are there to protest, or most of the people that are showing up at this event, period, are there as looters? What's the bigger group there?
I think the the dynamic probably changes throughout the day. You probably have more protesting happening during the daylight hours because it's hard to get away with a lot of, stuff like during the daytime, like people can see. So I think at night, I think it shifts throughout day to day, and it's the same thing you saw in like 2020 in Portland and like Chaz in Seattle. Everything seemed hunky-dory in the daytime, and that's when a lot of the cameras were rolling, showing it as mostly peaceful or whatever. It wasn't until, I guess you'd say the normies went to bed that a lot of the stuff really started popping off.
And you've been keeping up with this stuff on at least, like, Twitter and the internet in general, and you said that it is going on in Portland again now. Yeah, well, I just saw Andy No tweeted right before we got on here, that they're starting to pile up in Seattle around the federal building. They said something about there were some detainees in the federal building, and some Antifa types have started barricading themselves around the doors because they were thrown out of the building, so that they've started to pile up around outside of the doors. I think I saw some stuff earlier about stuff going on in Boston. I know we've seen some videos on Twitter today out of Austin and Dallas, so it looks like it's starting to pick up around the country, and you're seeing that the No Kings protest that's been all over the internet today. They even have... That already started? No, they just have the website's making its rounds. It's supposed to be for Saturday, but... Yeah, and I think it's not an accident, because I'm pretty sure it's Donald Trump's birthday, June 14th. Is it really? I have no idea. I know that he is a Gemini, and I'm pretty sure it's June 14th is his birthday. Is it? That's crazy. I don't know. And that's supposed to be this Saturday. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be the riots, the No King riots. And it's kind of weird and odd because there's also, like, the thing that keeps popping up in people's minds is the Rodney King riots. And it's a little weird because of the fact that this other one's called No Kings, called No King. I don't know. Yeah, and it's right around the same time of year, isn't it? Right? Isn't it June in 1992? Oh, I don't know. It was probably over the summer. I wasn't alive. I was nowhere close to being alive when all that stuff happened. So you're talking to somebody who has. I was close to being alive, but I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't even close. So it's this article here kind of brings up the comparison and contrasting that people are doing. It's from ABC News, and it says LA protests far different from the '92 Rodney King riots, and just the fact they had to label headline the article like that, you could tell that a lot of people are comparing the two. Or maybe they're just fishing for a headline. Yeah. Hey, let's talk about this other riot in LA. So you click on it and, because everybody still to this day knows about, I know about them. I wasn't even alive. And it's still, I'm from the West Coast. So it was like a culturally significant thing that happened that kind of, changed a lot of the social dynamics out in the West Coast was post Rodney King riots with race relations and stuff like that. So do a lot of people still bring that up? Like maybe people older than you that and stuff? Oh yeah, for sure. Stories? My entire family's from California. Like my mom was born in Stockton and my grandma spent a lot of time in California as an adult. I grew up in Oregon. So, I was a little bit more removed from California, but a lot of my family, I still have family that live in LA. And they'll even bring up, I remember the Rodney King riots back in '92, and